Hello, remember me? Probably not, but I did reviews of YA books. Ring a bell? Yeah? Seriously, I haven't done a review in forever. And I'm not even gonna do one today. No, really, I'm not. Instead, I'm gonna do my very first book haul. Wait, what's a book haul? Well, a book haul is when you take a bunch of books that you haven't read or haven't finished and talk about them and why you bought them. So not a review, but still has YA books, so it counts. And everything's different. Look at the scenery. Look. Different place. Except no. Wait. Around the corner. Same place where I usually do it. Except for the very first review, which I did in that there yonder kitchen. Beginning with Blood Red Road by Maura Young. So Blood Red Road has a ton of hype, especially here in Canada. I think it's because the author is originally Canadian. She now lives in Britain. I don't know where. But yes, so it is being compared to the Hunger Games. And if you remember way back to my Divergent review, I said that I hate when books get compared to other ones, especially the Hunger Games, which many new books seem to get compared to. But I can see where this is coming from. And so Blood Red Road is set in the future. I'm not sure when, but it seems fairly far off. And it takes place in this kind of wasted land, and it's just everything is dead. The water is dried up, and if you notice on the cover, it was the main character Saba walking in this deserted desert plain. Linguistics. So Saba is 18, and her twin brother Lou is taken from her, and she goes to get him back, and that's the plot. It sounds conventional, but it's totally not. So it's all written in how Saba would talk, so I can read you the opening. Lou got born first on midwinter day when the sun hangs low in the sky. Really, it's written like that. So it takes a while to get used to, plus there's no quotation marks around dialogue, but it's so good. It's so fast-paced, and the characters are wonderful. So as you can see, I am partway in. I don't know if you can see that, actually. Oh yeah, you can. So I'm like 3/4 of the way done. So I won't say much more because I'll probably end up reviewing it. You Are Not Here by Samantha Schatz. Woo! It's so shiny! So I actually don't know a lot about what this book is about. I got it for free in the swag bag at the Teen Read Awards last year, but it's written in verse, and it's about a girl after her boyfriend dies. So it looks pretty from the cover, and I like books that are written in verse. Ellen Hopkins has some amazing ones, and so I'm excited to read that, even though I don't really know what it's about, and I just got it for free. And even you can see it says uncorrected proof, not for sale, because it was for Teen Read Awards and part of the swag bag. I got a lot of books like that. Actually, I have another one in this haul that you'll see later. Next up is The Devouring by Simon Holt. Did you see what I just did with the face? Because it was lined up. So The Devouring is the first in a series. I'm not sure what the series is called. If it has a name, maybe it's just The Devouring series. And the cover looks pretty trippy. It's all kinds of smoke and some girl with her mascara. And yeah, it looks really dark and cool. The problem I have with it is that it's thin. I don't read a lot of thin books because I could read that in a sitting. So I'm only a few pages in, and it's cool. It's kind of dark. I like dark books. And yeah, I bought it mostly because the cover, and I wanted to start a new series, and that was like a month and a half ago, and I haven't really read much of it at all. But whatever, I've got a stack here, as you can already tell. I've still got quite a few more books to talk about, but it looks really good, and I'm excited to read it, and probably the rest of the series. Why didn't it stop? 16 by Julia Carr. So another future book. I like books that take place in the future, I know, and in the past. But yeah, present, whatever. Present sucks. It's boring. No, that's not true. Anyway, future. I like it. So in this book, I think it's just a standalone, but when you turn 16, you basically become a prostitute, except you like it. So they have a sex obsessed culture, and basically it's like as soon as you turn 16, anyone can jump into your bed, and it looks kind of trippy. But I keep saying trippy. I never say trippy until now. And I put another book I bought because of the cover, which is terrible, but it looks really cool, and the title is written in Roman numerals, which I recently learned because one of my friends realized that I didn't know them, and he made me learn them. It was really embarrassing, but I know them now, so that's exciting. And off topic, yes. So that looks interesting, and it reminds me a lot of from the whole 16 and things change concept. It reminds me a lot of Scott Westerfeld's Uglies Quartet. So I love those books. So hopefully this will be just as good, but probably not because Scott Westerfeld is a hero of mine. The Queen's Mistake by Diane Hager. Now I love Tudor history, and I have had an obsession with Henry VIII's wives for as long as I can remember, especially Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. And so this book's about Catherine Howard, and I've read so many about Catherine Howard, but it looks really interesting. And most books that I've read about Catherine Howard portray her as kind of a ditz and really frivolous and stuff, but this book makes her, as you can see, I'm only like less than a quarter in, but it makes her seem a lot more intelligent than most books portray her, and I think that's really cool. And I'm eager to see where this goes because I think Catherine Howard was super cool, even if she was a little dumb. But come on, anyone who had to marry Henry VIII, who was like, at the time she married him he was like 40 something and morbidly obese, and she was beautiful and 17. So that would be gross. Yeah. Beautiful and 17. Who does that remind you of? I'm stopping that now. Eyes Like Stars by Lisa Menchev. I said it right. I was worried about her saying her last name. I didn't want to screw it up. So let's get something straight. I love Shakespeare. And I know as a high school student, I'm not supposed to say that because we have to study his plays and his sonnets and all that, and you're supposed to hate him. But ever since, the first play I read of his, I think, was The Tempest in grade 5. And I'd seen his plays before that, but that was the first time I actually read Shakespeare. And I just fell in love. And ever since then, I've just loved his work, and I like books that center on his work. And so Eyes Like Stars takes place in a theater, and it involves two of my favorite things, Shakespeare and fairies. I love books with fairies. Holly Black, Cassandra Clare, all those authors who use them are my heroes. And I keep saying hero. That's another word I keep using that I never use. Alright, so Eyes Like Stars has fairies and Shakespeare, and I'm only a chapter in, but it looks really cool and pretty, and involves like all these like old time sets and stuff. So part of the plot is that there's this book in this theater, and it's got like all kinds of plays, and all the characters in these plays are able to come out of this book, and so it's kind of like Toy Story, but with characters from plays. So, yeah. And so the people in the theater know about it, and that's pretty much it. But then the book comes into danger. So I guess I'll see how that goes. It's good. It's really beautifully written, and I like books like that. So, yeah. Poison by Sarah Poole. Now this isn't actually a YA book, and I forgot to say it, but The Queen's Mistake isn't either. But they both look good, and I'm putting them in this haul anyway. So it's by an author who I think writes a lot of Tudor books. I haven't read them, but this one takes place in Renaissance Italy, and I've read a few books that take place then and there, and I've loved them, so which is kind of why I bought it. And I actually bought it for when I went to Italy last March, but then the trip was super busy, and I didn't end up reading it on that trip. So I guess I didn't read it since, but whatever, I have it now. And so it's about the court poisoner in the like Italian court, except that she's a woman because she takes over after her father dies from poisoning. So it's really also kind of dark, and it's really interesting so far from the 5 pages I've read. And I just love books that take place in an older era and the future era, but older era especially. I just love historical fiction, and so I'm looking forward to this one. And the very last one, but not least, Rampant by Diana Peterfriend. Another last name I don't want to screw up. Peterfriend? Peterfriend. Unicorns, except not like rainbow farting, virgin following, except kind of virgin following. Unicorns, they're deadly unicorns, and the only people who can fight them are virgins. So kind of like a twist on the whole only virgins can see unicorns, and it's cool. So the main character Astrid, again, I'm not very far in, so you can see, if you can see, yeah. But the main character Astrid, her mother studies unicorns and is obsessed with keeping Astrid's virginity, which is kind of creepy, so that Astrid can go and fight them. And so eventually she does, but then she meets this guy and he's nice and stuff, but she has to stay chaste. So I guess you could compare it to Twilight in some sense, except don't. Stop. Don't compare it to Twilight. Never compare a book to Twilight unless it's bad. I'm sick and tired of books having like quotes from Stephanie Meyer on them saying, "Oh, I loved it," or people saying, "If you like Twilight, you'll like this." It makes me angry. Though actually I've noticed that those are being replaced by Cassandra Clare and Suzanne Collins, so hopefully that trend will continue. Anyway, I think it'll be good. If you hadn't noticed, I like strong female protagonists, as YA often gets to portray them in such a way, and that's one of the reasons I love YA books. And actually, Maureen Johnson, one of my favorite authors, and no, not the character from Rent, although I do love that character from Rent, Maureen Johnson. She was on an American radio station today, so I listened to it on a stream feed, talking about why fiction is good, because there was a woman talking about why it was bad in this essay she wrote, and saying that it's too dark for teenagers to read and that they shouldn't be. And so this woman who on her radio talk show had both Maureen Johnson and the author of that article in to talk, and I was listening to today. It's about an hour long, so if you're gonna, I kind of skipped through some of it because I'm terrible, but whatever. So Maureen Johnson was wonderfully defending YA and saying you can't group it. That's like saying that all adult fiction is too dark because YA isn't a genre. It's written for teenagers. It's like saying you don't want teenagers to read, or you want them to read children's books. And so Maureen Johnson had some really great arguments, and the other woman who wrote that essay really didn't have a case or anything that she could say. It wasn't good. And I realized that has nothing to do with Rampant, but I'm saying it here and now because I think it's important. So if you have a chance, I think you should Google that. Maureen Johnson has been talking about it on Twitter for weeks, so it's really easy. Just go on her Twitter and I'm sure it'll be there and links. That's how I got to it. And yeah, and still in this Rampant area, but I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm sorry that I haven't been doing reviews lately. I've been super busy. I got a summer job, yay! Except going from not having a job to working full-time is quite a jump, so I've been really busy. But I'll try to be going back to my Friday schedules, even though it's Wednesday, so I won't be doing one this week. I'll be doing one, try to start back to my Friday schedule for next week. So I'll see you next Friday, or you'll see me. I don't know, I always say I'll see you, but I see a green light at the edge of my laptop screen when I'm recording, not you. That'd be creepy if I saw you. I'm gonna turn this off now. Bye!